Marques Ogden, you are a former NFL player, inspirational keynote speaker, 5-time best-selling author, business coach, consultant. You're a host of your own podcast. When I talk to you about your story, some of the ups and downs, I'd love it if you could share that with our audience just so we could, kind of get into the meat of what we want to cover today.
I got drafted to the National Football League by the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I had a phenomenal experience in the NFL. I'll tell your amazing audience the same thing that Jack Del Rio told me and the entire rookie class. To be successful, gentlemen, in life and in football, be your own CEO. So from there, I got into construction, built a massively 8-figure successful construction company. But unfortunately, right, Mark, my ego got in the way in 2012, and I ended up losing everything that I owned in 2013.
All right, welcome back to our Speak Life podcast. It's your boy, Mark Mead. I'm here with my man, Marques Ogden, who has a very amazing history. I want to get into some of his bio, and then I'll introduce him. Marques Ogden, you are a former NFL player, inspirational keynote speaker, 5-time best-selling author, business coach, consultant. You're a host of your own podcast, Authenticity with Marques Ogden. And you played NCAA Division I football at Howard. Ended up getting drafted by the Jacksonville Jaguars in the 6th round. So you got a decorated history. And, when I talk to you about your story, learning about some of the ups and downs, I'd love it if you could share that with our audience just so we could, kind of get into the, the meat of kind of what we want to cover today.
Yeah, so I'm from Washington, D.C. I went to the Howard University, the Bison in Northwest D.C. I actually went to elementary school, middle school, high school, and college, all in Northwest D.C.
Really?
Yep, Stevens Elementary, then St. John's for middle school and high school, and then I went to Howard University, all in Northwest Washington, D.C. So from there, right, Mark, I got drafted to the National Football League by the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I had a phenomenal experience in the NFL. I'll tell your amazing audience the same thing that Jack Del Rio told me and the entire rookie class when I was drafted. To be successful, gentlemen, in life and in football, be your own CEO. Be your own chief executive officer. And that's what I truly learned from Jack. Learned about how to be, come to work early, stay late. Don't wait for Jack to tell you what to do, where to be, where to go, all those things. And that was vital. It was everything, because learning from Jack, it allowed me to have a great sense of how to do business after the NFL.
That's strong.
So from there, I got into construction, built a massively 8-figure successful construction company. I was the #1 African-American owned subcontractor in the city of Baltimore and the state of Maryland for 2 years. But unfortunately, right, Mark, my ego got in the way in 2012, and I ended up losing everything that I owned in 2013.
Wow.
Home foreclosed on. Both cars repossessed in the same day.
Wow.
Had to completely start over from rock bottom as a result of making a lot of money, having a lot of things right there at my fingertips, but just not really taking care of the things I need to take care of to move myself along. So I tell everybody, it's so important that you understand that in business, it's all about your ability to treat the people that you work with like gold. I didn't do that, and as a result of that, I lost everything in 2013.
Wow. So that's that's just the beginning of the journey. That's the tip of the iceberg. And obviously, there's been, a lot of, commentary and people talking about, NFL athletes or sports athletes that, have a hard time, managing their success or managing their money post sports. You built a big business. Was that always on your mind to get in? When you said Jack Del Rio taught you to be a CEO, on the football field, you're managing your clock, your diet, the things you need to do to be successful. And eventually football's over. When you took that mindset from Jack, did that also translate post NFL right away? Or was that something that kind of morphed over time?
So after about 6 months of feeling sorry for myself, addiction, nightlife, gambling, I realized that if I was going to have any success in life, I was going to have to build something. 'Cause I didn't really want to go the corporate America route. And I felt that I had some talent in how to work with people, how to sell. I knew a little bit about construction, not a lot, but enough to be dangerous.
Hmm.
And I said to myself, this is the path that I need to go on, that I want to go on to get myself where I want to go. And so that's what it was. And it was literally for me, Mark, Jack and his words and
Hmm.
all the things that I learned allowed me to take myself to the next level through being able to focus on, as what I say, what truly matters, right? Which is again the people and the focus. So absolutely what Jack talked about and who Jack was and what I learned from Jack, I always wanted to do something. And after I stopped feeling sorry for myself for about 6 months, then I moved into business and I had some great success. But unfortunately, I didn't have people around me that cared enough about me to tell me to not be full of my own self.
Gotcha. Now you got a chance to play. Your brother is a gold jacket guy.
Hmm.
Jonathan Ogden, left tackle of NFL Ravens. I mean, the Baltimore Ravens. You played on the Ravens, yeah?
Hmm. Yep.
Got to play with Ray Lewis and these boys. What years were those?
That was 2004 and 5.
Okay. And so, what did you learn being around like just sheer greatness? Like that had to impact you in some way where you got Ed Reed and you know, you know, Ray Lewis and Terrell Suggs and like there's some great people that were on that team. What did you learn during that time?
So what I learned is that it's all about your ability to show up and show out.
Ah,
All of
ah,
those
ah,
guys were phenomenal at what they did. All of them. They would all show up and show out. My brother, Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, Terrell Suggs, they were all masters of not just showing up and talking the game, they showed up and they lived the game. And
mm,
that's what it is in life. That's what it takes in business. It takes the
mm.
ability to not talk about stuff and what you plan on doing or what you hope to do or what you expect to get done or what you think can get done. What will you do? What will you do? Because you're not gonna, again, saying I think is giving you is giving you an excuse to not get it done. Well,
Right.
I think I can lose the weight, or I think I can get this deal done. When you talk like that, you're giving yourself in your mind room to quote unquote not get the goal. When you say I
Facts.
will do this or I will do that, then it becomes willpower. You say people who are successful have willpower. People
Mm.
who are not successful have want power.
That's dope. I never heard that, man. That's pretty strong. I agree 100% with that, man. Just the ability to showing up is one thing, delivering is another thing. And I that's what I'm hearing you say. But listen, you've been on a journey where you had to reinvent yourself multiple times. Reinventing, as you said, I felt sorry for myself. I had to dust myself off. Reinventing yourself is not an easy thing to do. But as you know, along the journey, you got to reinvent yourself multiple times. The first time you had to reinvent yourself from an NFL football player to someone who's a business owner. You made a bunch of money. You represent one thing. You lost a bunch of money. Now you represent something else potentially. How did you continue to kind of grab yourself by the collar? What advice could you give to entrepreneurs who maybe are struggling or going down a path of potentially losing their business? And the fact that, hey, as much as it might feel like it's over, it's far from over. What is your advice there?
The only time it's over is when you quit. That's when it's
Mm,
over. If you
mm,
don't quit, it's never over. You always have a chance to win, but you have to be in the game. And if you're
mm,
listening to this and you're struggling right now, I have been there. I have struggled where I didn't get a paid speaking job for 2.5 years. Two
mm,
and a half years. I didn't have any source of revenue other than working odd end jobs here or there just to support my family. That's what I did. That's how it was. So when you talk about commitment or you talk about, all these things that you can think about, I can tell you right now, it is in your grasp. It doesn't matter what you're facing right now, even if you're facing bankruptcy or loss or foreclosure or all these things, anything you can think of business wise, I went through it.
mm.
Foreclosure on a home, check. Cars being repossessed, not in the same month or the same week. How about the same day? Check. No money, check. No credit cards, no family, no nothing. When I got to Raleigh, it was $400. Didn't know a soul. Was trying to figure it out. Had a job lined up. Wasn't going to make any money for about 4 weeks, getting any type of revenue in, and I
Wow.
literally was almost homeless on the street after losing everything in my construction company and in my business after my NFL career after all things I did successful in business, I had to start completely over. So again, if you're struggling, the only way that you lose or that you don't win is if you give up. Because again, oh Marcus, you can say you're successful now. Oh yes, I very much so, and very grateful to be so. But 13 years ago, I wasn't that. 13
Mm.
years ago, I had no money. I had no friends or very few friends. I had no resources. I had no speaking career. I had no nothing.
Mm.
So trust me, if I can do it, so can you.
That's strong. What what would you say that taught you about leadership, accountability, financial management? You go from everything going south, which there had to be a lack of leadership, a lack of accountability, a lack of financial management, mistakes that were made, to where you are now, very successful, working with Fortune 500 companies and all the things you're doing now, consulting for some big dogs. What did that teach you about leadership, accountability, and financial management?
So, leadership is the art of getting people to do what you want done because they want to do it. General Dwight D. Eisenhower. Another great thing for leadership, it is serving a cause greater than yourself. That's leadership. And let me tell you something. Leadership is like Dr. King, Mother Teresa, Gandhi, Nelson Mandela. That's true leadership. And when people know you are a leader that listens with intention versus trying to just talk, talk, and talk, you become a leader that others are destined to want to follow. So it's just like Aristotle taught Alexander the Great. 5 keys to being a great leader: have impeccable character, have emotion in all that you do or passion, give people a reason or logic to why they should follow you, tell them stories in the art of metaphors, and keep it concise. As a leader, if you can do those 5 things, you will lead people wherever you want them and wherever they know they need to go. Accountability, it is taking ownership. It is the internal promise that you make to yourself to do whatever is necessary to help you and others achieve what they desire. Again, it's an internal promise. You can't lie to yourself. You can lie to everybody else. You can lie to everybody else, right? Marcus, did you go to the gym today? Yes, I did. I sure did. Was leg day. I played 2 games to pick up basketball. I hadn't played basketball. I had the PRP surgery, hip procedure. the plasma rejuvenation procedure on my hip to help me get myself back. I'm feeling better. I've been doing a lot of swimming. I've lost weight in the workouts. But today I said, try basketball again. I love basketball. I played 2 games. Wasn't as good as I normally am, as a former athlete, but way better than what I was a year or so ago through all the pain. I did my basketball, I did my legs, I did a little core, off to the barbershop. Here I am working to get my stuff done. That's accountability, right? I can tell you that only I know if it's true or not. So
Ah,
accountability is taking ownership and not lying to yourself, because you can lie to everybody else, but you can't lie to yourself. And in financial management, I have a degree in finance. What I learned in my first business is exactly that. It's a business. I treated my business like a human being. I put way too much of my money behind it. I should have never have done that. I got overextended. I made some bad decisions. Boom, pow. I'm done. I got nothing. I'm out of business, right? And so what I learned is be fiscally responsible. Make sure you are doing a business that you can fund through the good times and the bad. Because again, it's not about revenues feed egos, profits feed families, and keeping profits feeds your family in a rainy day.
yes, sir.
And we all have rainy days. We all have all these things. We all do. But the question is, how are you at actually getting it done? How are you at actually facing the reality that you need to watch your dollars? And again, do not, do not try to keep up with the Joneses. That's what kills so many people, trying to keep up with others. I'm very fortunate, right? I live in a very nice neighborhood. I call it a Leave It to Beaver neighborhood, right, Mark? I bought a house, a $500,000 house that was 3,100 square feet by myself about 9 months after filing for divorce. I love my home. It's probably worth now over 700,000. It's a beautiful home, but I don't have the biggest home in the development. I don't want the biggest home in the development, which is that's just not what I want. I
Right.
want what I want. I want what
Yeah.
I can afford. I want what I know what my daughter, who now feels safe in my home, she's happy. I got tons of space. I've got my office. I've got a man cave. Farah has her room, her bathroom, a playroom. I've got a nice guest room. I've got a huge walk-in closet, huge master bedroom. I mean, I'm good, right? But fiscally, I can afford it, and I put money away. As I make money, I keep money. Because in business, you're not gonna always, especially entrepreneur, you're not gonna win every job. You're not gonna get every contract. And your people that work for you, that you are responsible for, must get paid. So it's all about you setting yourself the principle of where you need to go to get done what you know you need to get done.
Whoa, that was a mouthful. That was a lot of knowledge, a lot of nuggets. Y'all gonna have to rewind that one when you get there. So, when you think about your podcast, Authenticity with Marques Ogden, what's the inspiration behind that? Who are y'all trying to reach?
We're reaching anybody and everybody that wants to hear the authentic, true stories of authentic, true people. That's what it's about. If you have an authentic story that you want to share to inspire our audience, you will be a great fit on our show. If you're trying to come and tell me that everything in your life is great and gravy, no struggles, no challenges, no hardships, blah 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 blase, I don't want you on the show, because that's not real. Everybody's had a challenge. Everybody's had an issue. Everybody
Absolutely.
needs support. They need that community. They need a sense of, man, I struggle. How do you get through this? Well, you get through it by doing this, man, or this, man.
Right.
That's what people need. They need that. And so if you're listening to this, the show, Get Authentic with Marques Ogden was created for you. If you
Mm,
are somebody, which we all are, in my opinion, that has
yeah,
struggled or faced a challenge, our podcast is for you because it's
that's true.
about real people who are sharing their real, authentic journeys.
Yeah, that's amazing. To me, you know, I've always looked at the pastor from the pulpit and the ones that were the most vulnerable. I registered with the most.
Of
Why?
course.
You in a high position, people are looking up at you. People are looking at you every single week or what have you, and you don't struggle. When you show me and tell me your struggle, I'm listening. It's kind of like any given Sunday when Al Pacino starts getting up there and telling when he does the speech and he talks about all the ways he screwed up, that's when people start listening. And so you lead that way, which I think is amazing and authentic. I love the way you use that word. Um, and it's something that, in my life that it's how I had to move people. It's like everything was not perfect. I don't think I'm self-made. I don't think that, it all just kind of felt, no, it was, hardcore bricks and we've been through a lot, you know what I mean, to kind of get where we are, and we continue to go through things daily. And I like to be transparent about that stuff because it helps people. And so I love that focus that you have there. Um, but through all of it, through all of the kind of rise, fall, rise that you've been through, you've found your way into consulting a lot of big businesses and big personalities. Michael Strahan, you've talked to, had a podcast with. Done some consulting for Goldman Sachs and Merrill Lynch, Mass Mutual, Intel. How did you get on their radar?
Hmm. I got on their radar through building relationships with the right people. When the relationship, not the job. It's, for example, the job for Mass Mutual, we do keynote speaking, trainings, workshops for our client, NAFA. Mary, who works for Mass Mutual, is a NAFA member and heard me on the talk. And one of my talks, she said, Marques, I gotta have you as my speaker at the Black AXA event, trying to inspire our African American, financial advisors in how to be better and how to do more and how to achieve more. And that's what it's all about. And
Mm,
so every job we have, it's come from a relationship, and it comes from us just really working on collaborating with people, creating a place for them to feel that they can express themselves, and just building solid relationships with people that really are about them succeeding. We call it the victory mindset approach. It's not
mm,
about our success. It's not about that individual's success. It's about everybody we come into contact, their success. When everybody's winning. That's how I look
mm.
at it.
Ha! I love it. With being in some of the biggest spotlights in the world in your life, how do you find that leaders, you know, how do you find it the way you coach leaders to overcome challenges? Everybody's different. Everybody sees it from maybe a different, approach. How do you universally help leaders overcome challenges?
So what I do is I teach people to look at one action step at a time to solve a challenge. If you try to solve a challenge by looking at the entire challenge, the entire picture, you get overwhelmed. Our brain is not designed to be able to endure that type of chaos, that type of scenario, because what happens is our brain gets overwhelmed and then it shuts down. So like I teach people, if there's a problem, one action step at a time. We call it move your horizons. Do
Mm,
not try to engulf an entire problematic situation, because when you do that, that's when bad things happen, because you're so focused on trying to solve the entire problem that you don't even get anything done because you're so overwhelmed that you don't move and get anything done. So it's all about getting it done one action step at a time.
Love it. You're a 5-time best-selling author. I am aspiring to write a book. So you're going to be talking to me right now. You know, number one, what was your favorite book and why? And number two, when you started thinking about writing, was that enjoyable or was it something you felt you had to do?
So my favorite book is The Success Cycle, 3 Keys to Unlocking Your Greatness in Business: Ambition, Drive, and Hard Work. And absolutely, I enjoyed every minute of it because it was the ability to take my story, take action steps that I was able to do, and move them and get things done and help others. So without a doubt, writing books has been an amazing experience, either as a contributing author or all by myself. And I really love it because I can take my story plus action steps and I can then help others get through challenges in their lives.
I love it, man. When it's all said and done and people are, trying to figure out, the legacy and impact of Marques Ogden, what do you want that to be?
Giver. One word, a giver. Because when you give more, in reality, you get more. But people can't see that. So a lot of people struggle with that. So for me, right, Mark, it's about being a giver. When I give more of myself, that's the legacy I want to leave behind. Is I was a giver, not a taker.
That's strong. Speaking with Marques Ogden on the Speak Life podcast, sir. When we think about legacy, we're talking legacy. We're talking sowing seeds today for tomorrow's harvest. What is the harvest you're believing for next?
We're looking to launch our inner game community, and that's what we really want to happen. We want the inner game community to become a movement and get people inside. I got my podcast. I got an interview in a second. We got the game coming up here at 2:00 today. And I want the inner game community to be known as a community of helping others elevate. Because when you have a movement, that's when real change comes about.
Marques Ogden, sowing seeds, baby. Appreciate you for jumping on our podcast, dropping nuggets and sharing with us, my man.
Thanks for having me on, brother. Thanks a lot. Have a great day, everybody.
God bless you. Take care.